G'day guys, Justin here coming at you with another NBA Player of the Day video, this time for November 4th, 2017. Only the 5 games going on in the NBA today. We had Memphis with a 113-104 victory over the Clippers, Mike Conley leading the way there for the Grizzlies, and Blake Griffin with 30-11 there in a losing effort for the Clippers. Sacramento went down to Detroit 99-108. We had Zach Randolph there for Sacramento with 19 points. Meanwhile, Avery Bradley piling in 24 points there. Andre Drummond having a very nice game there, 19 boards to go with, I believe it was 16 points as well. As we head down, we'll see Dallas went down to Minnesota 99-112. Dennis Smith Jr. there for Dallas leading the way with 18 points, 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Karl Anthony Towns having one of the games of the season for himself, 31 points, 12 rebounds. We had Golden State winning quite comfortably over Denver, 127-108. Kevin Durant with 25, 7 and 7 for the Warriors there. Thunder, Jesus, that's been a while. And Will Barton leading the way there for Denver with 21 points, 8 rebounds. But as my title says, New Orleans with the 96-90 win over Chicago. Justin Holiday with 18 points there for the Bulls. But my player of the day, despite some conjecture from DeMarcus Cousins, who did play well, is once again for the 5th time this year, Anthony Davis, with a total impact score of .305 in a single overtime game. Davis had 27 points and 16 rebounds, only 2 of those offensive, however. No steals or assists, but he did have the 3 blocked shots. 64.7% shooting, which is what you want to see, an efficient scoring night for someone who might be lacking a little bit defensively and maybe in their passing game. I don't think he was lacking defensively, but his passing game certainly was. 50% from deep, showing you didn't need to rely on that outside jumper. Again, good to see a big man that's able to get inside. And 100% from the stripe, so 4 from 4 from the line there on his 2 possible shooting opportunities. 2 turnovers. Again, no assists probably does hurt his case there, but getting the 3 blocks back with the 1 foul sort of nullifies that as well in what was 41 minutes of play. Now, this was just another game for Anthony Davis. He probably should have done a hell of a lot better considering the way Chicago is at the moment. They're a very weak and vulnerable side. But it is interesting to note that the Bulls are a top 10 defensive team so far this year, and their ability to hold teams down and bring them down to their level of play has been tremendous and been beneficial in some games. But nonetheless, the big guys are able to work in tandem here, and they managed to get the win. So as we go through the game breakdown, we had a post-up and dunk on Markkanen following a Cunningham pass. That was just a very simple opening play. He then got a lead pass after he leaked out from the defense. A lead pass from Moore, Etuan Moore, which, you know, while he's ahead of the field, was pretty basic and just a simple layup. He then took Markkanen off of the dribble for a layup, and he was defended pretty reasonably here by Markkanen. He's a very much a shining star here for the Bulls. I wouldn't be surprised whether he becomes a main player with this side in a couple of seasons to come if they can really utilise his ability, because let's be honest, there's really not much more coming for the Bulls other than Dunn, who is playing well. But yes, he took Markkanen off the dribble for the layup, but he was defended really well. Markkanen really bodied him, impressed him tremendously here. He then had the post up and a hook shot on Zipser, following the pass from Etuan Moore. So again, just using his size and experience and his strength compared to some of these younger guys or inexperienced guys playing against the talent that is Anthony Davis. Zisper then drove on Davis. He pump faked him and certainly got Davis to go with the fake, but nonetheless he was a little slow in returning the actual shot, to which point Davis blocked that actual shot attempt deep in the pivot. If he didn't get it, DeMarcus Cousins, pardon me, had he not got it, DeMarcus Cousins it was pretty much running into the Twin Towers down there. He then cut down the lane following a possible screen option that wasn't used. Luckily, it was open, and he scored through Dunn and Zisper following the pass from Drew Holiday. Again, a big bonus that the Pelicans have, other than lacking defensively, is the fact that they have Etuan Moore, Drew Holiday, and Jameer Nelson, along with DeMarcus Cousins at this point, as their passing options. You know, if they're going to rely on Davis and Cousins to score, they're going to need to do a little bit more, and they're also going to need a little bit more defensively. But nonetheless, when you have 4 available passes and the thought of Rajon Rondo entering this side within the end of the month, it's a scary thought to see what the Pelicans could do. Obviously going to improve their record a little bit, and they need to do a hell of a lot more defensively, but there is no reason why they can't keep advancing. He then disrupted Markkanen's shot several times. He tried to tip it several times, to which point he managed to grab the defensive rebound. So it was just good hustle. Couldn't tell whether he got a block in there or not. I wouldn't be surprised whether he did. Oh, excuse me again. Oh, damn. But nonetheless, yeah, disrupted his shot after several tips and grabbed the defensive rebound. Great hustle there. One of two good hustle plays, which I'll allude to later. Following the disruption of Markin and several shots, he came down the floor and was fouled by Felicio and made both free throws. Again, went 4 and 4 from the line and made the most of his 2 trips. He then leaked out following a contesting Markkanen's 3-point shot. He received the outlet pass from Cousins for the jam. Again, just ahead of the field and did what he had to do. Contested the 3 really well. It was missed and took advantage of the fast break opportunity. He then gained open space under the hoop from Nwaba. Yes, that's right, Nwaba, the tiny little guard they've got. And he scored easily following the Holiday pass. There was just no bigs down low. They were playing almost like a 1-3-1 set there at this point. And he's just snuck in and got the score with no real presence on him. He then gained the offensive rebound following the Holiday missed layup. He made the putback following ahead of Lopez. So, again, it was a real struggle straight to try and guard the bigs in this game because the bigs they do have to defend them. Do it. Oh, sorry about that. It's been a big day. But yes, as I was mentioning there, they were on struggle street when they did have bigger guys trying to defend them. Lopez isn't a defensive, or he's not really a juggernaut of any sort, but he's certainly not defensively minded. And when you have guys like Markkanen trying to D him up, who just are lacking that experience, and Zipser as well, guys who are lacking that experience playing in Anthony Davis and certainly lacking the size, they're always going to struggle. So Davis was always going to be able to pour points in. Similar to LeBron yesterday, using that size and that experience and taking advantage of that to score points. Obviously not to LeBron's extent, but nonetheless, you get my point. So following the putback from over Lopez, a couple of plays later, he was then fouled by Lopez, to which point he, again, made both free throws. He then had a pick-and-pop situation with Drew Holiday. He popped out to the 3-point line, but didn't receive the pass straight away. Jimmy Nelson was open on the 45. Holiday's flicked it right round to him, and then Nelson's just hit Davis up at the top of the circle for the 3-point shot. Over a late contesting Lopez, who had somehow floated to the top of the key and then tried to make somewhat of a contest. It didn't work. We then had double screen action at the top of the lane. Holiday drove and Davis followed suit for the alley-oop pass for the jam. It was just basic play. One of the bigs flared to the wing and one of the bigs went to the lane. Super simple stuff. We then had a pick and roll on Markkanen and Lopez and the lob pass from Cousins for the jam. It was a quite athletic move considering when he caught the ball he had no idea where the hoop was. So quite a highlight there. But Again, sorry about that. But then following that last play of the game, which was quite pivotal here for a block, mind you, that dunk also tied the game, which ended up the game ended up going into overtime after our Cousins block on a Chicago layup attempt there at the end of regulation. But we had another block here by Davis on Holiday, who was driving to the lane. Holiday of the Bulls, not to be confused with Holiday of the Pelicans. But he's blocked this ball from Holiday and in the one motion chased the ball as it's gone out of bounds, jumped from inbounds, caught it and thrown it on to Holiday, who was standing out of bounds. Probably the best hustle player I've seen besides Porzingis yesterday for the season, and just a great defensive effort and ability to maintain possession. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your wrap-up of Anthony Davis's game. Again, player of the day for November 4th, 2015. Impact score of .305, 41 minutes in 41 of a possible 53 minutes. 27 points, 16 rebounds. Only the 2 offensive. Again, you like to see your big guys having a 3-on-1. Oh, damn it. Oh. Again, sorry about that. You'd like to have your big guys having a 3-to-1, 2-to-1 ratio in their offensive boards. Unfortunately, it was an 8-to-1, so a little bit of improvement needed there. But when you've got the likes of an Anthony, over to Marcus Cousins under their rebounding as well, it's not too bad. 2 turnovers to no assists, so not a very valid passing game, and struggled to get steals, had no steals there, so wasn't able to make up for the turnovers. But nonetheless, his 3 blocks and 1 foul show great shooting defensive effort on the shooting end. 64.7% from the field. That's what you want to do. A big guy that can get down low needs to take advantage of these sorts of matchups. 50% from deep. He knocked down the open jumpers he got, and he made 4 or 4 from the line for an 100% strike rate there, and 41 minutes of play. Just a few notes here to end the video. The Pelicans now moved to 500 on the season, and taking note of that, this is also Davis's 5th Player of the Day award. Now, a lot of people go, oh, wow, so every time they've won, Davis has been Player of the Day. Well, no, 3 of his 5 Player of the Day awards have come in wins. DeMarcus Cousins having one, and there was another win, to which point neither of them made Player of the Day. So, again, as I mentioned, Davis with his 5th Player of the Day award, that's the most of anyone. The next closest is DeMarcus Cousins with 2 and LeBron James with 2. As I mentioned, 3 games with a win, and he received Player of the Day, and 2 of those with a loss and received Player of the Day. Just a few anomalies as far as how he's been playing. That was his 7th out of the 9 games he's played. That's 7 games of over 27 points or more. And when you think about it, they've also managed to win 5 games. I'll just quickly do a quick fact check here. It'd be interesting to see what the results are when you've scored 27 points. But as I mentioned, 7 of his 9 games have resulted in 27 points. And when we go and look at that here, 1, 2, 3. He's now 4-3 of the 7 games in which he scored 27 points or more. There was his 4th game of 15 or more rebounds, and if we want to look at his rebounding numbers in games, he's now 2-2 for games where he's grabbed 15 rebounds or more. It was also his 5th game of 3 blocks or more, meaning that he's now 4 or 5 in games in which he's blocked 3 shots. Most notably, he's most notably had to have 27 points and 3 blocks generally for them to win games. And yeah, that's overall my assessment of Davis at the moment. That 5-5 record is something that they should improve on, and they've had a couple of games where they really should have had wins. Had their record been better, I'd have no reason to suggest that Anthony Davis has so far been the best player in the NBA this year. DeMarcus Cousins comes close, but his inability to stay out of foul trouble, not rely on an outside shot as much, and not foul as often is certainly what's costing him here. But if I was to do a three-way for player of the year for my MVP so far, I'd certainly probably be going with a Kyrie Irving over a Giannis and an Anthony Davis, just based purely off the way they're playing and their record. But if you were to go off statistical numbers, Davis has been by far the best player in the league. But as I mentioned, he's certainly in the top 3. I mean, my top 3 at the moment are Kyrie, Giannis, and Davis. Kyrie leading this team at the moment is dominating. Giannis putting up great numbers. He's just not getting much help, and they're not getting the victories that they need. So yeah, just as I mentioned, just a quick review of the notes. The Pelicans now moved to 500 on the season, with Davis receiving his 5th Player of the Day award. He's now 3-2 for Player of the Day awards. 3 of these in wins and 2 of them in losses. The next closest players to Player of the Day awards are DeMarcus Cousins and LeBron James with 2 each. You'll notice how Kyrie and that don't necessarily have the Player of the Day awards, but they are leading their teams to wins. Just a hint there. 7 of his 9 games resulted in 27 points or more. It was his 4th game of 15 rebounds or more, and it was his 5th game of 3 blocks or more. As I mentioned, if Davis has 27 points, 3 blocks, rebounding numbers depicting, and it depends how efficiently he scores, they generally win games. So really, if you're a Pelicans fan, you're really wanting Anthony Davis to have those 3 blocks and at least score 27 points, and you guys are in with a hell of a shot. So again, that's been me. That's the end of the video for my Player of the Day, Anthony Davis, the 4th of November 2017. 27 points, 16 rebounds, 2 offensive, no assists or steals with 3 blocks, 64.7% shooting from the field, 50% shooting from deep, and 100% shooting from the stripe. 2 turnovers and 1 foul in 41 minutes of play, which went into a single overtime. Total impact score of .305. So a pretty decent day for Anthony Davis. Thanks for checking out the video. What else can I say? Apologies on the yawning. I've had a reasonably big day, couple of days actually, and it started to catch up with me. Chuck a thumbs up on the video. Obviously, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more daily content, if not weekly content regarding the NBA, players of the day, and different thoughts and whatnot. As I mentioned, a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, we'll do a comparison video to Jordan and LeBron at 1,072 regular season games. LeBron approaching that mark as of the 7th of November in the US, 8th obviously over here in Australia. Hit me up on Twitter, Justin_G_Bryan. You can find me debating many topics, whether it be sports, politics, life in general, conversations about what I do, what you guys do. I'm always up for it. Always running polls on my Twitter, and one that I'm about to release within the next 10 minutes. So go and have a vote on that, retweet it, get some traffic. Is in light of the fact that not only the 57-point game, this is pretty coincidental, but in light of LeBron reaching Michael's 1,072 career games, I'm simply going to run a basic poll. You guys can vote. I'm expecting a landslide answer, honestly. That's if you vote the right way, in my opinion. I mean, it's well backed reasonably, but who's greater all time, Michael or LeBron? It's going to be very simple. It's a 2-question answer. Retweet, get some traffic on it, and we'll see what the broader aspect of Twitter thinks of this topic. It'll go for a week. So again, it'll cover before the 1,072nd game and after the 1,072nd game, and I'll release the results of that poll along with my video that I do on LeBron and Jordan. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. And as I said, my player of the day for November 4th, 2017 has been Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans. Total impact score of .305, 27 points, 16 rebounds, 2 of those offensive, no assists, no steals, 3 blocks on 64.7% shooting, 50% from deep, and 100% from the stripe, 2 turnovers and 1 personal foul in 41 minutes of game time in a single overtime win against the Chicago Bulls.